So 1 minute wisdom from the Rebbe for today. So this week we read two parshas, Vayakhel and Pekudei. Vayakhel means to gather together. Pekudei means the individual numbers counted together. Now seemingly each name shows on the exact opposite idea of what the parsha speaks about. The parsha of Vayakhel speaks about making the individual vessels for the Beis HaMikdash, as opposed to Pekudei speaks about the general numbers. And Vayakhel means gather together, not about the individuals, and Pekudei means to have the counting for every individual, when seemingly it's talking about the general count. So the explanation is that itself is teaching us the importance of the Mishkan. The Mishkan had two aspects. Number one, every individual vessel was holy. But on the other hand, there was a general holiness in the Mishkan which elevated each individual vessel to be on a whole new level. And that's also the idea of these two parshas. Vayakhel means that it was gathered together. In other words, every vessel is special, but he's only special once he's gathered together with the other vessels. And therefore, when you're making every individual vessel, you have to know this is an individual vessel made for the Mishkan. And Pekudei means that it has its own value. As don't think that it's just a general Mishkan and each one is not important for itself, but rather Pekudei. Each one has its own value, and when it comes together into Mishkan, it's now worth so much more. This is also an important lesson for us in our general life. A Jewish person knows, on one hand, that he's totally one with every other Jew, and we all come from the same father. We're all about being together with the public. But on the other hand, you also have your own internal value. You have your own talents and your own capabilities, which you have to use out to the fullest. And this is a lesson from these two parshas. Vayakhel means that you have to include yourself within others, which means know that your individual service is important, but you have to be able to include yourself with others in order to start. You have to be part of the Jewish people, which is why we start off our days, start off prayers, by saying that you're accepting upon yourself to love your fellow Jew. The start of everything has to be to include yourself within the community. But after that, we say Pekudei. After that, you have to realize that you also have your own individual talents. And it doesn't mean that you throw yourself into the public and say that, okay, I'll give up on myself and just help others. No, you have to know that your individual matters, and you have to do out your own service and use yourself out to be able to serve God all the way till the end. And that's the way you really maximize yourself, by being a Jewish person, part of the community with your own individual talents. L'chaim, l'chaim.